good evening everybody. Welcome to Football Central Extra Time, where today's match we focused on was Liverpool and Arsenal. It finished Liverpool 3, Arsenal 1. Alexandre Lacazette got us started in the 25th minute for Arsenal. Then Sadio Mane not long after that in the 28th minute for Liverpool. Andy Robertson then redeemed himself after making the mistake for Lacazette's goal to score in the 34th minute, and a debut goal for Liverpool new boy, the £45 million signing from Wolves, Diego Jota, to finish us off in the 88th minute. And I can only see the assist for the 34th goal, so that was Trent Alexander-Arnold. Before I just say some more, I completely forgot. How could I? I'm joined by JLI Wheels. Good evening to you.
Good evening. How are we?
I'm good. So, what was your thoughts on the game then?
I think first of all, I'd like to say, because I think it might get lost in translation by what I'm about to say about Liverpool. I think it wasn't a bad Arsenal performance at all.
No.
Obviously, Liverpool could still be seen as the best side in Europe. To me, they very much are. I've said it before. I don't think they'll retain the title this season, but there's no, that's not because of the first 11. I think if their first 11 played every week, that 11 that we've seen today, the Alisson, Trent, that entire thing, they'd probably storm the league. I think the main thing for Liverpool was desire. It was a mistake by Robertson for the first goal. Lacazette with the finish, he could have had a few, to be honest. Lacazette, and I think, especially the one where he basically, he put it straight at Alisson instead of going pretty much anywhere into one of the corners. Then the game could have been different, because we have seen from Arsenal, once they do get a grip on games, a lot of the time they see it out under Arteta, but he fluffed his lines a couple of times, and we saw the desire, the hunger from Liverpool to right the wrongs, and it was Mane, then Robertson, and then the £45 million man Jota, as well said. I think it's, for me, it's very much this was the kind of the warning shot for the rest of the league. If you're gonna play poorly, or you're gonna not be up to the mark, we'll set the standard for you, we'll set the bar, and then it's up to you to match us, and that's exactly what Liverpool to me did today. And as a fan of Chelsea, it was definitely frightening, because we know that I've said it before that I don't think they're at the level of last season. I actually think today they were better than they ever were last season, which is
interesting.
Slightly scary.
Interesting and scary. Well,
sorry I'm late, fellas.
No, that's all right.
I'm late.
And it's a good evening to Sam Taylor. Good evening, Sam.
Good evening. I'm the one getting in trouble this time for being late to the party. So I'll eat my humble pie, to what I said to Will before. But I completely agree with George there. I think Arsenal had a couple of moments. Did you get to see the game?
Bits. I saw bits. I saw as much as I could. I saw the goals. Saw basically the key chances.
Did you see the? Did you watch it, Will?
No, I heard it on
goal,
5 Live.
Didn't see the last goal though, I've got to admit.
So, yeah, it was a good goal came out from a corner. But
how much of what I just said did you just hear? Sorry, Sam.
Yeah, I heard pretty much all of it about how you found it scary about Liverpool, how good Liverpool were, and what
Yeah.
you think it might mean for the rest of the league and Chelsea, and yeah.
Oh,
So
definitely. If you
yeah,
agree
but
with
I
me,
agree.
that yeah, go on.
I agree. I think Liverpool have their Arsenal have their odd moments, but they're always
Yeah.
going to because Liverpool plays such a high line. But let's be honest. I mean, Arsenal goal before Arsenal's goal, Liverpool had been dominating, and we've seen that a lot. Teams breaking, and Lacazette's finish was a bit lucky. He had one that was offside that he hit against Alisson, and then exactly the same again that he was onside and hit against Alisson. There he should have either gone round the keeper or hit it first
I
time.
think if Aubameyang has those chances, then they're in. To me.
Yeah, I mean, he closed the angles down well, Alisson, but he should have. Yeah,
He's a good goalie, isn't he? I think he's the best goalkeeper in the league, Alisson.
Second to Edison, probably.
Yeah, the best footballing keeper is Edison. The best keeper is probably Alisson. Yeah, I agree.
And they're both Brazilian.
I would have no problem playing Edison in midfield, and I mean that if I didn't have any midfielders, I'd put him in midfield.
He's ridiculously good with his feet, isn't he, Edison? Fantastic.
But and Alisson's not bad either. I mean, Alisson's not quite as good with his feet as Edison, but I've never seen a keeper that is. But he's still not bad, and I actually think all round is probably slightly better than Edison. But you can pick it, out of those two. But going back to the game, I think Liverpool absolutely deserved it. Done, but and Pepe came on and was absolutely atrocious.
He was
honestly,
awful, wasn't he?
I don't. What did you see his corners?
Yeah, I think.
Did you see the corners he took?
One or two of them. I think he took two, didn't he? And they both failed to clear the last man. The first man, I mean.
The first man, yeah. I mean, what they're seeing him, he's been. I know he came with a bigger reputation, and I saw some of his highlights before he came to the Premier, and he looked really good. But I get that you're not a bad player if you're not good enough or don't make it for the Premier League. But it doesn't look like he's got anything at the minute.
£72 million, I think.
I quite like Reece. I quite like Reece Nelson. I'd give him a go.
And Eddie Nketiah.
But what is?
Yeah, but Eddie Nketiah needs to play up front for me.
What is it with Pepe? Because he came with such a big price tag and a big reputation, and he could clearly play, and he's just not.
And I think if you look at his numbers as well, he's done all right, but
he's shown glimpses, hasn't he?
He's done good, but he's not done 72 million good. You know, I mean, I think that's the problem with the price tags. You know, you look at Pogba, Kepa, players like that. Is Kepa 72 million good?
Oh no, down the toilet.
That's probably.
Is any player 72 million? Probably
yeah,
not.
But if you say Lukaku, if you had said like Lukaku 72 million or whatever, however much Inter Milan spent on him, I think that's money well spent. Too much money. But at least he's repaying. He's still repaying the fee. And Van Dijk. And then you look at some other players like Griezmann and you know to some extent Bale and Dembele. You know, Bale is, I would say, almost repaid the fee with the amount of important goals, the amount of money he won for Madrid with the Champions League final goals.
Oh my God, Will agrees on Gareth Bale.
I would say that Gareth Bale has more than tripled his transfer fee just from the money he's won for Madrid.
I will never like him as a player, but you cannot. The stats do not lie.
You look at Pepe's ratios, things like 34 goals or 43 games, 34 or 43 games, and something like 9 goals and 7 assists, something like that. I don't know. You'd have to look it up. I'm sure I heard it something like that. Definitely 9 goals at least. 72 million. That's poor.
Yeah.
That's poor. You think about it, after lockdown, Mikel Antonio got numbers better than that.
And he's been in the league and experienced for a number of years.
But yeah, Nicolas Pepe. I
Well,
think it was very clear straight away that he wasn't at the standard that Arsenal needed as a Champions League side. But
is it a big season for him? One last chance, would you say?
What I would say about Arsenal is just that they took risks tonight, playing out from the back and pressing.
They did it well.
Liverpool pressed, and the centre halves weren't good enough really to. They didn't look as comfortable as Liverpool's did playing out the back. But particularly Holding. But
I thought Rob Holding had a good game.
Say,
not great, but still good.
I put more trust in him than David Luiz.
He's just not technically great, but he's just a proper old-fashioned centre-half. If you're at a top club now, he'd be great playing for a Burnley, I tell you. But because he's a proper physical centre-half.
Yeah, I like him. I'm a fan. I think he could be in with the shout of the England squad.
No, I'm not saying I don't like him. I like him. I just think
not for a Europa League, Champions League side.
No, not that. I'm just saying the top clubs they have to be amazing footballers now, centre-halves as well, with the passing and stuff. Where he's a bit more of a throwback. Like, he's not one of them that you want to, to pass out into midfield like Ake or Van Dijk or Laporte can or Stones, you know what I mean? But it's still a good centre-half. It's just a bit more old school, but there's less of it at the top level. Anyway, what I would say is at least Arsenal are trying to play with an identity. I've said this on this show under Unai Emery and Arsene Wenger, and before, but for years, that Arsenal have played with a lack of identity, really. Particularly in the last couple of years of Arsene Wenger and the first year and a bit of me. They play with a lack of identity. Now, what's important to remember is the Liverpool defence, and they went wrong with the way they were trying to play, and he rectified that. And I think everybody goes, Liverpool are miles ahead of Arsenal. Well, they are quite a bit ahead, and they're also capable of beating them. But we've got to remember that Arteta's only been in the job for a year, and
not even that yet.
Had that team and evolved this, something like that in 10 months, and clinical tapping cards are doing really well. Also, I think he's ruthless, and clubs be able to evolve. I think you plays with. They've got an identity, even though they're not great at it yet. At least they've got an identity. And I remember a year 18, Liverpool have changed. They were as poor a year after he arrived than when he actually, than a year on. But then after a year, he got, after 2 years, he really started to make it his own. So I think we've got to be patient with Arsenal, but at least we're playing with an identity. Just needs working on a bit.
Yeah, I agree completely.
And you're looking at the stats. I mean, Liverpool dominated the game on every level. Would you say that represented what you were seeing on the pitch?
I think that's right, but I feel like Sam is literally going to say the exact same as me. But you also look at the chances that Arsenal had, and you think that could have changed the game at key moments as well, I think.
I do. I agree. I mean, goals change games, that's for sure.
They do.
What I would say, Will, is the stats were very clear today, and I think they did back up most of the game, barring the moments George just mentioned. But what I would say about stats is I think stats they're always relevant because most of the time, 80% of the time, they tell the story. But what I would say is stats are becoming slightly less relevant because if you look at the game yesterday between Leicester and City and take the scoreline away, you go, well, City dominated that in terms of shots, in terms of possession, in terms of chances created, but yeah, Leicester won 5-2. So, so that's why you've got to be careful with stats. But on this occasion, yeah, the stats, barring those couple of moments, probably did back it up. But if, like George said, if Arsenal scored, then then it would have been. Then, do I think Liverpool would have still won? Yes, I do, because I think they were playing very well. But you can't deny that goals change games, and there's fine moments at top level sport, very fine moments, that you may not even notice in some sports, but it makes a difference between top teams and top players. So yes, so I do think that those fine moments of Lacazette missing those chances, and there were a couple of times where Arsenal broke and there were players forward and they went backwards rather than playing it forward. And it's all about taking risks in the right areas of the pitch.
Yeah.
Football's about risking the ball.
I
do think sometimes Arsenal from the back. As much as I'm a big advocate of playing from the back, because you look at the best European sides in the world and internationally, you have to be able to play from the back. But there were times tonight where Arsenal just needed to get rid of the ball, and they didn't, and they played themselves into a bit of trouble. So you've got to do the right things in the right areas of the pitch, particularly if you're not overly comfortable. Because it's like when we play football, my dad says, never try and go on a mazy, I was told never try and go on a mazy run from your own penalty box when you've got players coming in at you. Yeah. Because you're going to lose it. But if you're over the halfway line, go for it. Because if you lose it, you've got cover. And that's to say, go on, guys, I've talked enough.
All I was going to say is I completely agree with playing out from the back is such a staple of modern defensive play. You've always got your goalkeeper's got to be good with his feet, and your centre backs have got to be good with his feet, and your full backs have become more like pseudo wingers in a way. It's weird how me and Sam are always on the same wavelength then, because I didn't even finish saying wingers and Sam said wingers, but that's another story. So yeah, you think about the great ball playing sides. I think about like Milan in the early 2000s with the likes of Maldini and Nesta and
Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona, of course. Some very good ball playing centre backs over the years.
Spain.
And I think Liverpool fit that bill. Van Dijk is not only to me the best centre back in the world, but he's definitely the best with his feet. Gomez isn't as good.
I agree.
But I think when you've got such a solid all-round centre back, I think possibly if he continues as well as he has done, Van Dijk could be the best centre back for a generation. I I think back to
I agree.
Maldini maybe before him.
Absolutely agree.
You know, I feel like there hasn't been a.
I mean,
Yeah, go on.
I agree.
Oh,
Carry on. I'm saying I agree.
I
I agree.
You can hear that as well as me, no? Or is it just me that can hear that?
hear what?
Alright, you can hear Sam alright, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear Sam. Yeah.
I can't.
I can hear Sam. Yeah.
Wait there.
Right. Okay, now George's gone off. Sam.
Okay, there we go.
Right, you're back, Sam.
I'll go.
Yeah, so what I was saying about Van Dijk being potentially
I'm
the
here.
best centre-back
Carry
in
on,
the
George.
generation if he carries on. You know, I think not since somebody like Maldini have we seen such a complete centre-back for me. But that's just my opinion.
Naby Keita is one that
agree.
has sort of struggled at Liverpool. Did you?
Hello?
What did you think of him today?
Yeah. Energetic,
Brilliant.
really good.
He was arguably the best player on the park today. He had a hand in the goal.
Reminds me of the
great.
player
He's really
that
settling
Liverpool
in,
bought
actually.
initially from Leipzig, who, you know, when they bought Keita in, I was really big into the Bundesliga at the time. You know, I'm in and out now. I'm more into it now because we do this show, obviously. But back then, I was a massive fan of the Bundesliga, and I loved watching Leipzig. And one of my favourites in that Leipzig team was definitely Naby Keita. I just thought he had it all, and he had a rocket of a shot, as we've seen a couple of times in the Premier League. Really energetic. He can win the ball. He can tackle. He can pass. He's a really complete midfielder. But yeah, it's not what it's out for him. But I think we saw, especially after lockdown and Project Restart, you know, he started coming into his own, and he played really well today. So that's good for him.
So you really think he can kick on and show his potential then from here?
How can you not with such a good midfield?
Absolutely, a quality midfield that Liverpool have. You know, with Wijnaldum and Fabinho as well, who's such a great player for them as well.
I've got a question.
Go on.
And this is for Sam and you, Will.
Ooh,
I know
okay.
that Sam might be able to give me a better answer than yourself, but I'll still give you a go anyway.
Oh, okay.
I like Bobby Firmino. Okay, we know he's a great player, but
definitely agree.
Do we think that front three and you know, the Firmino, Salah, Mane, do you think that it would be enhanced if Firmino could add more goals to his game? Because yes, he does score goals, but I feel like the work he does, you know, winning the ball back, passing, distributing, assisting, is a better part of his game. Is that more important than goals, do you think?
Can I go first?
Go on.
It's a hard one because obviously, you know, there's other work. Obviously, you know, if he's really a hard worker, isn't he? For stuff, you know, it's not just about scoring goals, but I think it's a bit of both. There's not one definitive answer. Obviously, there's the work that you do, the other work that you do on the pitch, but also if he did score more goals, yes, it would enhance the front three, because if you've Firmino scoring goals, Mane scoring goals, Salah all scoring goals, you know, that would definitely, undoubtedly enhance. So I think it's a bit of both. There's not one definitive answer, but that's just my view.
Sam?
I agree with what Will said. I think what we mustn't forget is out of the three, Firmino does. I mean, Mane runs back a lot, actually, but Firmino does a lot of the dirty work as well as supplying Mane and Salah. So I think, I tell you what, if you took him out that front three, you'd really miss him. I really do believe that. And I think what's important to remember is Salah's a winger, but introverted as a winger sort of striker.
Yeah,
a bit
as
like
Mane does, I think.
As
I think Mane
is,
does it better than Salah. To me, Mane's the better player than Salah, but my opinion.
As Mane is, yeah. But the sort of wingers come strikers. The way I see Firmino is that though he's playing in the front three and he can get goals and he can, and he scores and he creates a lot for the other two. A lot of their goals come from his hard work. I see a lot of him. Like, if somebody said to me, Firmino, yes, he plays in the front three, but I don't see him as an out-and-out striker.
He's a false nine, isn't he?
I see him as a false nine, or you could say he's an attacking midfielder that plays in a striking role, like that plays. Because Firmino started out as an attacking midfielder when he began.
He did. I think people forget that.
And I still see him, even though he plays in that front three, as an attacking midfielder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He gets goals, but it's not as natural as the other two.
Yeah.
I still think he's got a lot of attacking midfielder instinct in him. But I mean, I love Mane. I love Mane, but
would you swap Mane to be Mane centrally and then Salah as a winger?
Okay, so this is my opinion on the Firmino thing.
Apologies.
I'm not saying they need an out-and-out goal scorer. I was just raising the question before I made my point, because I think if Firmino was an out-and-out goal scorer, you think about how many more shots he would take, and the amount that would take away from he's so good when it comes to that key pass. We always say about
he's the link.
Yeah,
he's the link of the front three.
We always say
he's the link from the midfield to the front two.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
We always say about, like, with the top teams or teams anywhere in any league, in any country, we always say the final ball. The final ball wasn't on. They didn't play the final pass. Look for the pass. Blah blah blah. I think the thing about Firmino is he's the master of the final pass. That unlocking pass that allows the goal scoring chance or allows a good cross to go in that 9 times out of 10 you're going to bury. For me, Firmino is one of the best, at finding that pass that unlocks the defence. And I don't think he should score more because, like I said, I think it would take away from Mane and Salah. I think I don't think you could play one of them centrally. I think they have to stay where they are. I think that works so well. Like I said, I think Mane is the far superior player to Salah. I just think he's more well-rounded. He's
got a better all-round game.
Yeah.
He's more of a team player.
Yeah, exactly.
More of a team.
So for me, Firmino is key to that because
Firmino's the cog.
Yeah,
Firmino's the cog exactly. From the midfield.
He's the engine, isn't he? He's the engine, and they're sort of they're the car. They're the bit that looks nice and does the finishing, and he's the engine. If that makes sense.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think.
Sorry, something. Well, carry on.
So Jota, apart from his goal, did he look like he instantly would fit into this Liverpool side seamlessly?
He had some great touches.
He did well. Did really well.
Hit the side netting as well. Did you see the one where Salah took it away from him?
Yeah, I think that's not very fair, to be honest. I think
There's no way Salah was getting to that ball.
Yeah, I think Salah is a little bit selfish, though. be fair. That's one of the
Yeah,
things.
no, he is. He is.
Like we said, I think, Mane's the more all-round player. Yeah, he looks good, didn't he? Like I said, I didn't see the goal, but I did see the chance where he hit the side netting. He looks very good. I didn't realise he was only 23. I thought he was a little bit older than that. I thought he was like 25, 26.
Me and Will said that. Didn't we, Will?
We did,
And he
yeah.
moved, because I said at the age of 30, like, it's alright to go to Liverpool, but I'd want to play for the rest of my career and guarantee to get in. Although I think he's quality, but then I didn't realise he was only 23.
I don't know. I think if he carries on and
he will now. Now that he's 20, when I realised he was 23, I said that. Oh yeah, I can see why he's gone now, because he's going to get lots of game time.
And he's had plenty of experience in the Premier League as well with Wolves.
I
So
think
perfect signing.
if Salah, sometimes dips in form, I think we could easily see Jota replace Salah. Also, he could sit where Firmino plays too. I think people forget that he is quite a natural goal scorer when he'll get that chance in front of him. As we saw, I don't know. Again, he did score. I don't know whether it was a well-taken goal or not, but
he did.
I can imagine.
And
it was
don't
well
forget,
taken.
he came on for Mane on the left tonight. So
Well, he is a naturally left player, which probably, and Mane and Salah don't tend to interchange, do they? But if it was up to me, I'd have him replacing Salah than Mane. Mane more naturally fit, stronger, faster, more powerful, better finisher. Nothing against Salah, I just think that he is overhyped, to be honest.
No, I mean his numbers do speak volumes. You
can't deny that, can you? You just can't.
Do you think that Jota is definitely a loss for Wolves?
No.
Right, Sam.
I think that Jota's a loss for Wolves?
Yes.
And I do short term, because I don't think that Portuguese lad's ready yet that they've brought.
Fabio Silva.
Yeah, so short, as good. I think he's going to be a good player, but I don't think he's quite ready. So short term, yes, but I think it's a good bit of business for Wolves and for Liverpool, because Wolves got Hoover out of it. Hoover that played for
Liverpool. However you say it, it looks like a good player.
Yeah,
I like it.
And they needed like defensive reinforcements, and also they brought Semedo.
And if you had him and Thierry,
what a brilliant signing, Nelson Semedo.
Yeah, from Barca.
He's from Barcelona, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's Semedo. But is he Portuguese?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't quite hear what you said. Yeah, he is Portuguese. Portuguese.
Came from Barcelona though.
They love
his club.
They love the Portuguese.
Yeah, I heard somebody say Portugal FC. That's what he called it.
Well, George Mendes, of course, who is Ronaldo's agent. I mean, he has a lot of influences on them.
To be fair, I'm just watching the highlights now. So yeah, it's a poor mistake from Robertson for Arsenal's goal, but I think Lacazette takes it quite well on the turn.
Hey, and
well, he sort of mishit it. But...
Yeah, to get that in the back of the net though is not bad at all, is it?
Hey boys, if you had Hoover and Thierry Henry, you'd have an Henry Hoover instead of Henry Hoover. I thought that was quite good.
Or you could put James Henry in, then you'd have a Henry Hoover.
Never heard of him.
Oh god. Have you heard of James Henry, Sam?
No.
You haven't?
Of course I've heard of James Henry.
Wolves.
No, I said of course I've heard of James Henry.
Oh yeah, Wolves, Millwall, Oxford.
Wolves. Didn't he played for Wolves in Premier League, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll have to look him up.
Wasn't he in the same team? Wasn't he in the same team as Matt Jarvis?
Yes. And Roger Johnson and all them.
Yeah.
God, that seems so long ago, doesn't it?
He was a good. When he was Matt Jarvis.
Oh, I definitely don't recognise his face.
Yeah, good potential.
Matt Jarvis, yeah, I feel like he
Do you know Matt Jarvis?
No.
Do you know Matt Jarvis as well?
No.
West Ham, Wolves.
Nope,
And
name's not
England.
familiar.
Made a few appearances. What did he get for England?
Matt Jarvis.
1 or 2 caps, I'm sure, for England, Matt Jarvis.
Do you know he has a little bit of Frank Lampard to him, actually, with the ears and the face?
Do you know what? That Jota finish is phenomenal.
I know.
I really rate that. That's a brilliant finish.
What a debut. What a home debut for him.
He just took it down, and bang. Brilliant. Leno didn't even move.
Now, if Arsenal had Martinez,
He
do you
didn't see it
think...
though.
If Arsenal had Martinez instead of Leno, do you think he would have done better saving any of the Liverpool goals? Or
No.
Sam?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right.
What a great signing that is for Villa, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great signing.
100%.
Do you know he had the highest save percentage of anybody
And he
in the league
started
last
really well
year?
for
No,
Villa.
he
Who were
played the whole season.
4th place Villa, by the way.
Martin.
Yeah, Villa absolutely thrashed Fulham.
Having played only 2 games.
Yeah.
Having only played 2 games.
Good start, though.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. The fact the 4th having only played 2
Right,
games.
my internet's struggling, so I'm kind of,
So I'll hand over to one of you boys for the player ratings, if you can.
I thought you don't do player ratings. I thought you only do player ratings for. I thought you only do player ratings for United.
Well, what do you think? Should we start doing player ratings for other games, or?
Yeah, go on then. You can start us off.
Okay. So.
Yeah, I like that bit of the show.
Yes, the player
You do it
ratings.
this time. And I like your voice the way you do it. You sound very official, like you're reading the results. So you should do it.
Oh yeah. Well, so did Gel by Wheels when he had a crack.
Yeah, he has got a little bit of a Mike West kind of voice, hasn't he?
Mike West or James Alexander Gordon, or even go back and then
Yeah.
Martin. Anyway.
Will is an absolute Mike West, isn't he?
Yes.
Right, so
West.
we'll start with the website. This is Anfield for the Liverpool ratings. So, Alisson, 8 out of 10, an injury doubt before the game. Alisson couldn't do much about a missed shot from 6 yards away, which bounced over him and in from the visitor's goal. He stood up well to Lacazette and 2 1-at-ones, saving both, showing he's well matched to his best form again. Oh, blimey, this is a long one. Trent Alexander-Arnold and 8, some fantastic early deliveries, and nearly scored a thunderbolt, which was deflected on the bar. Decent crossing for Robbo's goal. Robbo, who's? Oh, Andy Robertson.
Andy Robertson.
Oh,
Who's
dear.
Robbo?
Yeah, I don't know. Just went blank. Who's?
Go on.
Anyway, even if not quite an assist, that was a source of plenty of problems for Arsenal in the first half, especially. However, horrid positioning for 2 through passes which it played everyone for. Fortunate Lacazette missed on one occasion. Still possibly Trent's best game so far this season, and more like the player we've grown accustomed to seeing. Joe Gomez an 8. Nice and tidy upon his return to the team. Good recovery, pace more than once, passing outwards, lots of excellent, brilliant late chase back to stop Aubameyang, then win a tackle in the box. So sounds like a perfect performance.
Talk a bit slower.
Oh, sorry. Virgil van Dijk an 8. Don't remember him breaking into a jog in the first half. His long passes were rather wayward, but his second half shot was well struck. Loved his raging at the ref after a corner was given late on. Sorry, Sam, what did you say? Pardon, guys, what did you say?
I heard Sam say something, but I don't know whether he's disappeared on us or not.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be back if he has.
Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, right. Hopefully he'll
be back. Carry on.
So, Andy Robertson. Andy Robertson a 7. Worst assist of the season, quickly followed by him scoring at the right end within 2 minutes. It's like the team wanted to quickly get back level for Robbo after his mistake that let him for Lacazette for 1-0. And then Fabinho an 8. He makes it all look very, very easy most of the time, doesn't he? Then brings out a proper thunderous run and tackle on Willian. Just to remind you, he's the best defensive midfielder in the world. 2 excellent games in a row in 2 different positions. Naby Keita 7. So much work down that right channel in tandem with Trent and Mo to win the ball back again and again. Simple and possession rather than the winding dribbles. Winding doesn't make... No, winding doesn't make sense.
It's not winding.
Oh dear. Gini Wijnaldum a 7. Few nice sweeping passes, but also lost the ball in 1 or 2 dangerous areas without showing much intent or invention. Had a good chance with a low shot from the edge of the area, but scuffed his effort. Helps the lunatic passing from the Reds an awful lot. Mohamed Salah an 8. What a show of power and pace for the equaliser. A bit quiet in spells, but always the outlet after turnovers and helped out defensively in the Reds' half. Once or twice too. In terms of passing, would be interesting to see if he covered more ground during that, or making actual runs when the Reds had the ball. He robbed Jota of a strike late on, but thankfully it didn't prove costly, with the new boy scoring minutes later. Roberto Firmino made all the spaces, all the running and all the pressing, almost perfectly with Mane and Mo on more than one occasion, but it was just short of clicking more often than not. Sadio Mane, man of the match, a 9. Had a busy first half hour with a Forearm. Forearm. Oh dear, I'm forgetting new glasses. With a forearm smash, a good chance and a tap in goal. Nice anticipation to finish the rebound. Relentless with his pressing and winning the ball back off holding. Almost scored a second on the spin, making several openings with quick passes, cups and sides, and fierce shots. Bit surprised he was subbed with 10 to play, and the game's still open, but Jota proved very effective, and that's just what he'd been signed for. Substitutes, James Milner, 6. Few tackles, few shouts. Pretty sure we heard him swear again. Not as Costas this time. A good experienced player to have come and see out a game like this. Diego Jota on for Sadio Mane. A 7. Should have scored but missed. Should have scored but Salah rubbed it off him. Then did score. But this is exactly what he'd been signed for. To provide a good attacking option when Mane and Salah are sub. Goals will be excellent for his confidence early on too. Next to start on Thursday against Arsenal again. but this time in the League Cup. And Takumi Minamino, I've probably not pronounced his first name right. No time to mark, non-applicable. A thank you appearance for his midweek brace. And the subs not used: Adrian Neco Williams, Jones and Origi. Jurgen Klopp, 9, went with his strongest, most settled side with Gomez returning to the team. Kept that side on the pitch until the latter stages, a bit surprising to all Mane off, but Jota wrapped it up, so all good. Classic Klopp preparation, and his team saw out the win. So that's the Liverpool player ratings. Could you do the Arsenal player ratings, Jord?
Hang on, I'll have to go and find them, but sure. Oh,
Okay, thank you.
let me just unplug my... I was just looking at some transfer stuff then. I'll have a look again in a minute.
All right, any big stories coming out?
Well, I didn't get... I was loading it up, so I didn't get to see. But we'll just have a look at...
Wow, that'd be
player
interesting.
ratings.
Tottenham interested in Antonio Rudiger.
Yeah, that's what I've just seen, actually. Hang on. We're on the... we're on Football London, and it's Arsenal player ratings. Here we go.
Okay, over to
Bert
German.
Leno. The German was very active early on and responded well to the onslaught, but should have dealt with Mo Salah's shot better in the build-up to Liverpool's equaliser, and was left exposed for Andy Robertson's goal. 6. Rob Holding. It was another mixed display from him. The 25-year-old was sound for the most part in defence as he dealt with long balls to Mane, as well and was quick to react to loose balls. Where the inconsistency came, however, was when he was in possession and as his passing brought more pressure on the Arsenal defence. As the game went on, his influence grew in a defensive sense, which was promising, but continually getting trapped by the Liverpool press left Arsenal at risk. A 6. David Luiz built on his display from Leicester with another good defensive display in the middle of a back three. I agree there. When Liverpool crossed into the box, he looked ready to head the ball away. When they looked to burst into the space in front of him, he was there to intervene. 6. Kieran Tierney offered Arsenal better angles to play it from the back, but Liverpool were well prepared for this as the Scot was often rushed into passes. Wasn't too bad for the most part, but struggled at times when Salah drifted inside. 5. Hector Bellerin had a quiet game and was caught out of position for Liverpool's second goal. The timing of his challenges on Sadio Mane were off as he failed to marshal him well enough. Should have engaged Diogo Jota more quickly to try and prevent the third goal. 5. Mohamed El-Neni pressed Liverpool very high in the early stages of the game, but struggled to control proceedings in possession. 5. Granit Xhaka. While he pressed Liverpool high with El-Neni, Granit Xhaka was more effective on the whole. When Liverpool attacked, he took up good spaces in order to block crosses and passes in between the lines. His pass in the build-up to Alexander Lacazette's opener was exactly what was needed, as it helped expose the Liverpool defence. In the second half, yet again, he was more of a defensive figure, which could have led to him being brought off. 6. Alright, Sam.
Sorry, lads.
No worries. I'll just carry on.
Hard mine as you.
Oh, no worries.
You go.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles found himself in good positions in the first half, but wasn't sharp enough to capitalise. Lucky that his cross eventually found Lacazette in the opener. For the opener, was very lax in possession over the course of the 90 minutes, which hurt Arsenal throughout the game, in which he also struggled to keep tabs on Mo Salah. 4. Willian was forced into very deep positions where he struggled to have a real impact on the game. Had a few good moments in defence. 5. Alexander Lacazette, frustrating night for the 29-year-old, as despite scoring the opener, he could have put the Gunners into a very strong position heading into the closing stages. Although he was offside for his chipped effort that would save, he had to take the chance that Ceballos created for him minutes later. Not at any point did he look like finishing, and the disappointment could be seen in his reaction for being substituted. It was a harsh lesson for Lacazette to take, but one that proved crucial in the outcome of the game. 5. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It was a poor outing from the club captain, as he was on the periphery of the game for the 90 minutes. Substitutes. Dani Ceballos made the right impression when he came on, as he had a clear intention to push Arsenal forward. Should have had an assist after playing Lacazette through and almost connected well with Nketiah at 6. Nicolas Pepe had a disappointing cameo and failed to impress with his corners, which could have been vital. 5. Also, me and Sam did highlight that, so
Yep.
I'm glad to see that somebody else noticed that. Eddie Nketiah didn't have a sniff once he was on the pitch. There we go then.
Okay, thank you very much, Jello Wheels, for the player ratings. And something which really made me laugh, Roy Keane said Liverpool had a sloppy game, and Klopp thought that was funny as well.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Some of their passes were a little bit wayward, but I don't think they were poor.
Yeah,
or sloppy. I think that a better team, a team that were more alert, probably would have done better with it. But I don't think that they had a poor game.
So Arsenal, I think, have got next Manchester City, Manchester United and Leicester City, I'm pretty sure. Their next couple of games in the
Hang on, Sam
Premier
was
League.
trying to talk, wasn't he?
Oh, sorry, apologies, Sam.
Oh, he's gone. Never mind. That's funny, that. I was just going to say something. So, this is one for you specifically. I would have liked to have heard Sam's thoughts, even though I did sort of get Sam's thoughts just before you joined earlier on.
Okay.
Ruben Diaz going to Man City, again, is another United target.
I didn't see much about him being a United target, I don't think.
From what I'd seen, he was the most heavily linked, other than Upamecano, and he's not coming to United either. I just wondered what you thought about Ruben Diaz, how much you know about him. Do you think he can be a good signing?
Well,
he's what City need for me.
Well, obviously, I mean, City obviously do need to strengthen the defence, and they already have that with Nathan Ake, but Ruben Diaz, obviously, he's had, even though he's still quite young, he still has had quite, experience, hasn't he? I think in the Champions League.
Champions League.
Yeah, so to me, ideally, on paper, it's a good signing, but of course, you don't know whether players will adapt to the league, as we all know. But on paper, it's, he still will have things to learn, and who better to teach him than one of the greatest coaches in our time and in the world, Pep Guardiola.
I think it's a very difficult debate to have when you think about who the best coach in the world is right now. Because I mean, you look at Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, and you look at the way that they coach, but it's also the talent of the players. So it's very difficult. But also, you look at Guardiola and his style. To me, the best manager in the world right now is still Guardiola. But I think you can't.
But Klopp's getting there, isn't he?
You can't ignore Klopp. I mean, he turned Borussia Dortmund into a winning side. Not that they weren't anyway, but
he laid the foundations into even today to Dortmund. Would you say?
Yeah, I would say. I think what Dortmund are now was built by Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
Dortmund as a club, yeah. I'd agree with that to some extent. I think you look at. To me, it has to be. I think Hansi Flick has done a good job at Bayern Munich as well, but
yeah,
Bayern Munich, Bayern Munich have some of the best players in the world anyway. So the thing is, can you say that it was Hansi Flick that's done that, or can you say, it's built off from the Ancelotti years, it's built off from the, the Niko Kovac years, from the Jupp Heynckes years,
In his many spells.
Yeah, for me, the best coach in the world is Guardiola, but I think you look at Klopp, and again, tactically today, I agree that some of the play wasn't great, but I still think they were far and away better than Arsenal. But with those moments that Arsenal had, they could have easily have nicked something. I agree with what Sam said about stats, and it is quite iffy to do when you're talking about stats, because stats, they show the overall picture of the game, but they don't show
key chances and stuff.
Yeah, they don't highlight how key a chance was to the point of the game. You look at, Lacazette had 2 chances, one was offside.
Yeah.
And another one he should have scored, and if he'd have scored that, then it's 2-2, and the game looks a little bit different, and you don't know whether Liverpool would have got back into it or not.
Do you think, here's a good question, do you think they could revamp the stats to include key chances and stuff?
Well, that's what the expected goals is meant to be, isn't it?
Oh, that was what, GXG or GX or something?
XG.
That was expected goals, because I was wondering about that, but I didn't know what that was.
Expected goals, and if you say, I don't know what the stats were, but
I can't remember.
The game finished 3-1, but Liverpool had chances that should have been 1.3 of a goal, or goals, whereas Arsenal had 2.6, then really Arsenal had better chances to score than Liverpool did. And then, what that shows is the quality of finishing from the teams, by the way. That's what that's meant to show.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we go back to the basic thing of the game, we've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes now. If we go right back to where we were at the start, I think definitely a very solid performance from Liverpool. I wouldn't worry if you were Arsenal fans. I think on another day they could easily have got a draw or even 3 points if they'd have scored early chances.
Yeah, loads of chances they had, didn't they?
Like I said, it's very difficult to say, oh yeah, Liverpool deserved to win and they were dominant, because they were. But you look at the Arsenal chances and they should be scoring. Lacazette, though, it's good. I'm a fan of Lacazette, like I'm a fan of Aubameyang, but
I like him, yeah.
And I feel like over the last couple of years he has been outshone by Aubameyang.
He's been in and out, hasn't he, of form, particularly as well.
Yeah, and I think part of that comes down to, Aubameyang has been almost perfect in terms of goal scoring. Really did nothing today. Hardly heard his name mentioned.
That must be a surprise to you.
Either on the radio or hardly saw much of him when I could get the stream on.
Yeah.
So, but if I was Lacazette, I'd be a little bit worried. You look at Nketiah and the performances he's been having in the Cup, and
yeah,
he's absolutely rampant as well for England's under-21s. If he gets like 1 or 2 more in the next international break for the under-21s, he's broke the scoring record.
And Saka, of course, and of course Gabriel Martinelli when he comes back.
Saka's a left back and left winger, left midfielder, isn't he? He's not going to go at striker. And Martinelli, I don't know. I guess Martinelli could, but
I'm really excited to see how he'll be when he comes back. Martinelli.
I think there's a different kind of dilemma then for Arteta, isn't there? Because then, then where do you fit Aubameyang? Because surely Martinelli, with the impact he had, he's not going to play. He's not going to walk straight into that starting 11. But we know that he's a good player that can do some great things.
Well, for me, I'd play Martinelli centrally, Aubameyang on the left, Lacazette on the right.
I think that the next week of the next week's going to be really key for Arsenal. We got the transfer window closing,
yes,
and they've got 2 games as well. They've got Liverpool on Thursday, and I'm not sure who they've got in the league, but I'm sure we'll go over that on Thursday when we do the review/preview for the next week.
Yeah, for Arsenal, it'll be interesting to see, can they get those deals done that we've been hearing about, the Partey and
Aouar.
I can never pronounce his name, thank you.
Partey I think would be great. I think it fits in exactly with the kind of thing that we've enjoyed seeing from the Arteta identity, as Sam calls it. Sam's always going on about identity. Well, the Arteta identity fits Partey. If that's where they want to go, if that's how they want to play, then Partey is perfect.
He's 27 as well, so he's got quite a lot of experience, particularly in the Champions League, of course. As well.
He's got, and he's also got. I imagine, 27. You're sort of in you're sort of
prime
on the cusp
years.
You're sort of on the cusp of your key years. Yeah, that's true. So it can go either way. You can turn around and say, he can still improve and he could possibly get better, but also then if he doesn't improve and he's just at the level that he's at, you're thinking, well, that's good enough.
Well, yeah, he'd be a quality signing because I've seen him play for Atletico in the Champions League, and he's
a brilliant player, isn't he? There's no denying that he's a class player, and
brilliant.
It would improve Arsenal. I'm a bit surprised he's not been linked with another centre back, to be honest.
Yeah, Upamecano, he was linked to Arsenal as well.
My personal opinion is, if Upamecano is going to go anywhere, he would go to Arsenal.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
But he's at least going to stay there until January, end of the season. So.
Oh yeah, I think he'll have one more season with Leipzig and then choose to move on, similar to Werner signing a new contract and then moving on the year after.
Well, I think. I think I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the window. There are a couple of deals that could happen, aren't there? That would be interesting.
Josh King to Tottenham. That would be a good signing for Tottenham, wouldn't it?
Tottenham have made a lot of good signings. Skriniar, I think, is going to happen, which would be brilliant.
Really, they apparently they don't want to pay the full price, and they're struggling to get a deal for him.
I've heard that they're close to getting him on a lower price, which would be great.
It's quite weird because also from Milan, because I think Conte was saying he was open to selling him, but then you got the sporting director that said we're not putting him on the market. Well,
it's a weird one. I've seen that Inter's one of Inter's main targets is Chris Smalling.
Yes,
which I think would be a great signing if United don't want him, and
they can have him. We need the funds to get in new players. Really, I think it's time for him to go.
And if he doesn't go to Roma either, then I think it'd be a great signing for Inter Milan, who continue to go to strength. Maybe they can challenge Juventus this season. Who knows?
Josh King to Tottenham, do you think that'd be a good transfer?
I don't think he'd play that much. Obviously, if Kane stays fit. If
but do you
Kane
think
doesn't,
as a
Kane
backup
doesn't stay
option.
fit. I think he's an okay player. Yeah, I think he's got that ability. Does he show it as much as maybe he could? I don't think so. But I do think he's a good player that can do a job for a top 6 side. I don't think he's top 4 good enough, but
Somewhere like Everton, though.
definitely for an Everton kind of team, I can see him doing okay, doing all right.
One more thing to ask you just before we wrap up. If you were Edu at Arsenal, out of Partey and Aurora, I don't think I've even pronounced his name right, which one would you go for out of the two, you know? Which is the most important signing for Arsenal in terms of fit
Partey.
to the team? Because of his
Partey.
experience, or
Because he's got experience and you know he can do the dirty work. So
do you think he will? Do you think they will get that deal over the line?
I think there's a good chance they'll get both over the line.
Because I mean, Partey, Atletico demanding they pay not instalments but the full.
The full
£54 million
£45
release clause.
I saw 45 on Sky Sports. But yeah, I think they'll do both deals. I don't know where the money's come from for Arsenal. I think it could be to do with Edu
and Torreira, you know, if they could sell Torreira, I mean,
I feel like that would be a good deal. I think Torreira, I feel a bit sorry for him.
he showed early promise, didn't he? He
started off well, yeah, like you're saying. Started off well and it's not worked for him. It doesn't have to work all the time, obviously, for players. We know that, but
with Pepe.
it's still slightly disappointing. Are you ready to wrap up?
Yeah, I'm ready to wrap up. I think that's been a really great show. We've stayed largely on topic, I think. We've raised some good points because it's sort of always it is sometimes great to sort of go off topic, you know. I think obviously not too much off, but you know, still talking about football, and you know, there's still, you know, so many interesting things. I mean, the transfer window's going to be interesting. I mean, Max Adams, that's another one. Oh, yeah. Max Adams doesn't even exist. I've made up a player. Max Adams, yeah. I mean...
I'm sure he won't. I'm sure if he goes to Milan, it'd be a great signing for them, but I get the feeling he won't go.
What, because he'll want to stay in England playing the Premier League, or...?
I don't know. I mean... If it was me, if I was Max Adams, I'd go. You know, Milan have got a great history, haven't they? And
yeah.
You know, they've been some of the best teams in the world. Have been Milan teams. You know, you think of Shevchenko, like I said earlier, Maldini, Ronaldinho, David Beckham played there for a season. Brazilian Ronaldo played there for a bit. Kaká.
Kaká, yep.
You know, so if it was me, I would, but I'm not. It's not me.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, fellas. I'm back.
All right, Sam.
All right, Sam. Just in time for the...
sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Just in time for the end of the show. So, my thanks.
Hang on. Actually, I want to ask Sam the questions that we've just talked about. So the first thing was about Partey and Aouar. Do you think Arsenal will get those deals done, Sam?
Probably not now that the season started. No, I don't think they will. Never say never, but I can't see it now that the season started. And there's sort of deals that I can't see it being done 1 minute. If it was ongoing and maybe, but not really at an advanced stage. So
Yeah.
Well, we'll
I'd be
see.
very surprised if.
Yeah, definitely. And if you were Max Aarons, would you go to AC Milan?
How about you, Tim? You do.
We're gonna lose him again, aren't we?
Max
Oh no, there he is.
Aarons will not go to England.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
mate.
Yeah, I can hear you, Sam.
If I was Max Aarons,
Yeah. If
if
you
I
were
was
Max
Max
Aarons, would you
Aarons,
go?
would I go to AC Milan? Probably not. No. If I come with Norwich and not, like, probably be about the Premier League go, and I'm a big advocate for players going abroad, but
Fair enough.
I probably wouldn't. So that's just my
And a final
personal
question
opinion.
just before we go then. On
I'm
the
sure.
basis of that, showing, and the fact that they look the
Yeah.
strongest of the teams that we've seen, do we think that
Team.
Liverpool could retain the title this year?
It's an
I
interesting
mean, they were
one.
always favourites, weren't they? And there's still our favourites. Obviously, I would have to say yes. I think they will. I think I've never seen City are not solid enough. Especially our as a forward, even when they get the players back. They're not good, as good at the back unless this lad can change that.
Right, yeah.
Yes, but I still don't think they'll have enough. They'll be second. I think Chelsea could miss out on the top four, you know. But we'll see. But yeah, I think there's no way Liverpool any will never know, or who else, or Villa or anything like that, or any peak. So I don't see. In fact, City, Liverpool might win it even by a bigger margin than they did last year.
Interesting.
We'll see.
What about you, Will? What do you think?
It's going to be. I think when Chelsea's signings all come in, I know it's silly and you probably think I'm going to be crazy, but Chelsea to win the title. I just have that feeling.
I don't know. I think that City still need to strengthen. I didn't realise that they'd lost Jesus as well. So with that, he's injured for 3 to 4 weeks apparently.
Injured.
Oh, I thought it might be coronavirus.
With Aguero's still out for another month, and so is Jesus. So they're really exposed up front. And I think that's the problem. And I think that things like that, when you don't have the man to score the goals like your Jesus and your Aguero, then the focus is more on not so much midfield, because we know De Bruyne is good. We know the likes of Fernandinho is very good, but definitely on defence, and the quality of defence was Sunday League. I've never seen, since VAR has come in, I've never seen penalties that have been so blatant. So it's an interesting one. But they do this next week until the transfer window closes.
They were very good.
Yeah, the next week. Next week until the transfer window closes is so important. It's so important. Ruben Diaz is a great signing from what I've seen of him, but saying that some defenders from Benfica can be a little bit hit and miss.
Lindelof.
You can have from that league in general hit and miss. You can have you can have the kind of player like a Pepe or I'm trying to think of good examples of defenders. Either Pepe or an Alexandro, or you can have a Lindelof and a David Luiz and an Otamendi. So, I don't mind Lindelof really. I don't think he's that bad, but I don't think he fits into the style of the Premier League. For me, I think if he went somewhere else, it'd be a lot better. So yeah, that's everything for my questions. I think, but to get back to what I was actually saying, I still think City could win it, but they really, really need to strengthen in the next week.
Yeah, need another
if they don't,
striker.
If they don't, I think it's Liverpool's all day.
There's no big deal in it.
For me. Sam, yeah, you literally have got the worst internet, let me tell you.
Hello.
Right, I can hear you now, Sam. What were you saying? He's gone again.
Yeah, we're
no, I can hear you again now, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we got I agree.
Okay. Oh my, it's like pulling teeth with your internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, are we ready to wrap it up there then, boys?
I'm ready if you are, mate. I guess Sam will be ready, I'm sure.
I think Sam just wants to destroy his cable.
Yeah. I'm sure Sam will be willing to. Yeah, you're good for us to finish, yeah, Sam?
I only got gobbledygook.
He can hardly even hear. Yeah, he said, yeah, go on, right, okay.
Okay, right. Well, my thanks to JLI Wheels and Sam Taylor. Thanks for your company, boys.
You're welcome. It's been a good one.
It has been a good one. Really enjoyed it. Always enjoyed.
Sam is trying to say thank you. I can hear it really slowly.
Sam's struggling to breathe, I think, or it sounds like it from his internet.
Thank you. Thanks, Mel.
No, that's no problem, mate, and no problem, guys. I really enjoyed doing it with you. And absolutely gutted that the one game Ben could do, I couldn't make it, but it's just one of those things. So hopefully he'll be back doing this soon.
Yeah, I'm sure Ben will be back soon. I don't know whether you might want to ask him about Wednesday if he fancies doing that.
I will,
you might want to ask him if he fancies doing Thursday as well.
Yeah.
And then after Thursday, you're on your own for a little bit because I'm going back to work, so it's just you boys.
So
you boys dealing with it on your own.
You won't be able to do, if we do the transfer window, I think Monday, October the 5th.
We can do.
Oh, is it the Monday? I'm on nights. Oh yeah, I'm on nights, so I won't be able to do that.
Okay. Well,
we can deal without you, George.
I've got no idea what you're saying, Sam, mate.
He was saying we could do it without you. That's what Sam said.
I said we can do it.
That's alright then.
I like how Sam just said it so eagerly, like he couldn't wait to do it without jumping in.
Me and Sam have got a real love-hate relationship as this season or two has shown. We've it's all love really. I think you can tell by our footballing opinions. We view football in a very similar way, but as people we do clash a little bit, but it's all good fun. It's all in jest. We love each other, really.
We do, but we clash in a good way.
Right, okay. So United's next game, believe it or not, is Brighton. And believe it or not, Liverpool's next game, I think, is Arsenal again in the cup. So how funny that could be. Brighton and United.
We're gonna be here for that.
Yep.
Doing some coverage. I don't know whether Sam, you fancy joining us or you're busy. You'll have to let us know nearer the time or.
Wednesday, Sam. Wednesday.
When's that?
Wednesday.
Hang on, I'll thingy. Hang on, I'll look it up.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah, but
When's that?
Oh, 7:45. 7:45. Right.
Yeah.
It's 7:45 on Thursday. No, not Thursday. Wednesday. Sam, can you hear me? Oh God, he's gone again.
No.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, mate.
Wait.
Yeah.
Right, can you do Wednesday? Sam, can you do Wednesday?
Stop pestering him. Give him a minute.
Well, I think he's gone, so hang on. Oh, Jesus. Okay,
Yeah,
he's gone.
He's definitely gone. Right, we'll leave it at that, and you can message Sam or something. But to leave it at that, to be honest.
Yep, and then of course the next game United plays is Tottenham, and then me and Sam and possibly Ben would hopefully be all available to do transfer deadline day special. So that's something to maybe look forward to.
And apparently there are. I know we don't do England games, or do we? I don't know what we do for international games, but
I would like to do
there are three
England games actually.
on, aren't there? There's three on, isn't there?
Yeah, I think they're coming up soon because they were talking about it on 5 Live.
But yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, thank you for your company, JLR Wheels, and thank you to
worries.
Sam Taylor.
Yeah, although it was fleeting for Sam.
Yeah, it's like be good for a dentist is internet because it's like pulling teeth.
It was quite difficult, that, wasn't it? Bless him.
If you want to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Tube